white people kill black people, they don't come out and do this crap. The only time they do this crap is when a white person touches them. They're the racists. It's wrong for a white cop to kill a black person, that's for sure. But if it matters, it should matter at all times.
So what are you fighting for? What are you fighting for? You're not here to fight injustice. You're here to cause drama.
It's not about blacks. I am black. I'm not oppressed. I am free.
That's good for you. That's an individual person. What about a systemic issue?
I do what I want. You have the skills. This is a country where you have the skills. You want to do what you want. You do it. Okay. Stop forcing on people to accept that they're oppressed. They are not. I am not oppressed. I am black. Okay. Violence is wrong. Period. It's not about blacks. Okay. The blacks kill blacks in black neighborhoods every single day. I've never seen a Black Lives Matter in those neighborhoods. But if a white person kill a black person, Black Lives Matter. Stop the hypocrisy.
Why don't you start?
I'm not carrying anything saying Black Lives Matter. I know I matter.
That there will come a time when black people wake up and become intellectually independent enough to think for themselves, as other humans are intellectually independent enough to think for themselves. Then the black man will think like a black man, and he will feel for other black people. And this new thinking and feeling will cause black people to stick together. And then at that point, you'll have a situation where when you attack one black man, you are attacking all black men. And this type of black thinking will cause all black people to stick together. And this type of thinking also will bring an end to the brutality inflicted upon black people by white people. And it is the only thing that will bring an end to it.
The evil that plagues America has been in existence since 1492, and that very plague has been passed down from generation to generation, and it continues to destroy America to this very day. That plague is racism. And the key holders to racism are the very ones who created it, white supremacist racists. And the indigenous have done everything to coexist with racists. They've been allowed to steal and take over our land. They've unalived our children, our elders. They continue to unalive us at alarming rates. Not only do they continue to unalive us, they also continue to unalive those that look just like them that stand in protection of us. They are the complete destruction, not only to the indigenous of the United States, but all of America. And we have reached our breaking point. To the racist white supremacists in the United States of America, you are the true immigrants to the United States of America. And the fact that you continue to unalive us and destroy America, that makes you an illegal immigrant. And for our survival and all of humanity in the United States of America, it is now time for white supremacists in the United States of America to leave. And we know it's not going to happen tomorrow. You are of no use to us any longer. You never have been. And we have tolerated you until we can't tolerate you any longer. To any and every non-racist, to all descendants of the indigenous in the United States of America, we need to talk.
There's an old saying that black people have always known white people better than we even know ourselves. And I'm going to prove to you why this is true in this video. Number one, the reason my words have always triggered white America is because I've done what most white folks are too terrified to do. I simply put the myth down. I walked away from the racial lies and the narcissistic narratives we were fed from birth. I stopped buying into the delusion that our comfort is the only reality that matters. I'm not talking to you from inside the white bubble anymore. I'm just talking from the outside. You see, there are two Americas. One is built on the hard truth, and the other is built on a white fairy tale. Black people have the clarity they have because they never bought into the myth of white supremacy. They knew it was a hustle from day one. But white America made a deal with that myth. We traded our soul and our connection to reality for a sense of superiority that doesn't even exist. And that's the God's truth. That's why white folks have zero credibility when you talk about race. We can't have credibility when you're living a lie, can you? And in 2026, we're seeing the receipts for that truth. Last month, 8 million people, mostly white folks, marched for No King's Day. They were out there screaming about fascism, affordability, and the loss of democracy under Trump's regime, like the house that just caught on fire this morning. But look at who's not in those streets. Black people largely set this one out. Why, you might ask? It's because black people tried to warn white people for years. They pointed at Trump and said, this is where this ends. They sounded the alarm on the racism, the corruption, and the rot. But white people didn't listen. We went ahead and supported this racist regime in massive numbers anyway, because we were too blinded by our own greed and our own fucking arrogance to care about who got crushed as long as we felt superior. Yes, we saw a great white morally bankrupt narcissist that mirrored our white narcissism perfectly. Trump, the white man's racist messiah. See, white supremacy is a moral lobotomy. It has turned white America into toxic, delusional people. White narcissism spiritually stunts the person holding on to it. Fact. I know I was a racist. And we need to be clear. White supremacy isn't just the guys in the hoods or the extremists in the news. It's the everyday culture of white America. It's maintained by the average white person who either perpetrates it, denies it, or enables it through a cold, calculated apathy. It's all that silence that gives it permission to breathe. We thought we were the owners of the machine, but we were just the next ones on the menu. Now that the smoke is finally reaching our front doors, we're acting shocked. But black people aren't shocked. They've been looking at us from the outside for centuries, seeing the truth of our chaos while we were busy getting high on our myths. We spend all day, every day, spewing 1,000 false narratives and lies about race, indoctrinating ourselves with a belief system that keeps us trapped in this myth. No, black people aren't coming to save us this time. They're standing back, watching white people fuck around and find out what happens when you build a world on a fucking lie. That's why, despite the struggle, if you ask a black person if they would ever want to trade places and be white, the answer is almost always a resounding no. They'd rather keep their soul in their clarity than inherit our racist soul-crushing delusion. Because at the end of the day, black people have always known white people better than we have ever dared to know ourselves. They've always understood that white supremacy was never just about power. It was a form of enslavement for the white man. And ultimately, it is our destruction. So white America, I'm going to leave you with this. James Baldwin told us, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it's fucking faced.
It is wild to me how night and day different the response is from my black friends and from my white friends over this racial gerrymandering that's going on. And I live in South Carolina, so we're right in the middle of it. And my black friends are gearing up for war, but my white friends are like, what's for dinner? Like nothing is even happening. And the thing I've learned about white supremacy is that it not only dictates what's right and what's wrong, it actually dictates what issues matter and which ones don't, what is newsworthy and what's not. And so people who only get their news from Fox, they aren't seeing the pain that our black brothers and sisters are going through right now. And that is the problem with our racially divided white supremacist Christianity. It allows us to remain in our white bubble, and we have to open our eyes and realize that we are called to bear one another's burdens. And more importantly, we're called to legislate justice. But instead, we're doing the exact opposite.
They use bullets.
This is the man who shot Charlie Kirk. This is the man who shot Trump. This is the man who killed Melissa Portman. This is the man who tried to kill John Hoffman. This is the man who tried to kill Paul Pelosi. This is the man who killed an Obama-appointed judge's son. This is the man who hired hitmen to kill Democrats. This is the man who ran over a left-wing activist and killed her. This is the man responsible for the Austin bombing. This is the man who sent pipe bombs to Obama, Biden, and Hillary Clinton. This is the man who shot Gabby Gifford. This is the man who tried to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer. Oh, and this man, and this man, and this man, this man, this man, this man, this man, this man, and this man. This is the man who set Josh Shapiro's house on fire. This is the Oklahoma bomber. This is his accomplice. These are just a few of the men who beat police officers on January 6th. I can think of a few things they have in common, and it's not the way they use their words or their left-wing politics.
And I don't give a fuck how much fun I'm having at that party. Once white women start getting drunk, I'm going home. I'm going to the house. This hoe done threw up talking about some, oh my God, she's drunk, can you help us? No, you can go to hell.
I would like to say to this gentleman and all other people who are not blessed with melanin at this point in time to understand that what has happened in our history is that you have been misinformed as much as we have been misinformed. Much of the information that is brought forth not only from Dr. Muhammad but other areas, other scholars are not available to you, as the sister said, in your curriculums that you have for 400 years when you did not allow us to read and write and was being hidden. Whether you, sir, personally did that or not, it was a legacy that was passed on to you. And I end by saying the Holocaust is simply the greatest atrocity on film. Ours was not filmed. Thank you.
When you come here to the United States of America, other groups, Black Americans are not going to tolerate that. Definitely at this dispensation of time, we're not tolerating disrespect. We're not tolerating unfair treatment. We're not tolerating it. Because, see, at one point in time, you used to get away with a whole lot of disrespect because you wasn't the folks. You're in the same category they are at this stage in the game. And I want all my people to understand that. They are all in the same category because they move the same.
So I'm starting to see videos of Americans getting upset and defensive because people outside the USA are criticizing us and wondering why we don't rise up against our fascist-ass government. And I just want to say to all the Americans that are getting defensive and complaining, shut the fuck up. We are pathetic. We are cowardly. We are complacent. And we are just pathetic. We are genuinely one of the worst groups of people to ever fucking exist. And history's going to look back at us and ask the same goddamn question. Why were so many of us so willing to sit by, keep our heads down, and watch this shit happen right the fuck in front of us? We are only 4% of the global population. There are 8 billion people out there, and we impact almost every single one of them to some degree. Okay? We are the motherfucking bad guys. We impact the entire globe. Our foreign policy literally kills tens of millions of people if you look at the last decades, century. But like, this is a historical truth. This is a truth in the moment. This is objective fucking reality. And there is no excuse good enough that you could offer up to people outside this country who we are fucking every single day that would rationalize why we're not rising up against this shit. We are the bad guys, and we deserve all of the motherfucking criticism and so much more that is coming our way right now. I'm sorry that you're just now waking up to the reality of what the fuck we are, what the fuck you live in, and how much we impact people. But when they say that our problems inside this country are small compared to how we impact the globe, they are right. Our internal policies impact 4% of the world. But guess what? We impact 8 billion people. The other 96% of people that don't fucking live here, they are still impacted by what we fucking do. But you're so individualistic, you're so selfish, you're so me, that you think your petty little fucking concerns are bigger than rising up against the worst motherfucking government possibly to ever exist when you consider the technology that we have at our disposal. When you consider how embedded we are within the financial system across the world. When you consider the reach of our fucking military and its global presence. We are arguably the worst group of people to ever to fucking exist when you consider our impact. So we deserve all the fucking criticism. And if you don't like that shit, I can only assume it's because you're not doing enough.
Friends and family, I need you to lean in. Black people are not angry enough because we won't let them be. We have added so much criminalization and stigmatism to the expression of black anger. We are not letting them express how bad things actually are. When they express an appropriate response, we get uncomfortable. And white discomfort is unsafe. We hold so much systemic power that if anyone makes us uncomfortable, it is an unsafe environment for them. We have too much to answer for. I have too much to answer for. I knew police brutality was bad. I knew that. But I didn't make a post about it until Alex Preddy was murdered. I made a video about Trey Reed. But I believed it was like an isolated incident. I was shocked when I heard the news. That is the white privilege I've been able to live with, to think that this was an isolated incident. I didn't know that lynchings had never stopped. There wasn't even an anti-lynching bill until the 2020s. There was no legislation about lynching until the 2020s. And I had the privilege to believe it wasn't happening anymore. So when I heard it happened to a young black man who had nothing to do with the rage being directed at him, he was the definition of an innocent bystander receiving the victimization of mob violence, just like every other lynching in our history. And my sensibilities about the way this country is were disturbed. Keith Porter Jr. was just as murdered as Alex Preddy and Renee Good. It took protesting for white people to receive the police brutality that the black community has been facing since there was a black community. Renee Good and Alex Preddy were only murdered because they are better white people than us. We need to sit with that and then stand up. Why do only black artists and Hayley Williams make music about police brutality? It's not just a staple of the hip-hop genre. It's not a thematic element. It is the ongoing continuation of the single greatest crime ever perpetrated against humanity. 2/3 of the world's nations just agreed that the Atlantic slave trade was the greatest crime against humanity, and our country disagreed with them. Why do you think that might be in the country where we were barely even taught the traumas and tragedies and crimes of slavery? Why would our country take that stance? I'm not proud to be an American. I'm deeply, deeply ashamed.
What really stayed with me was how powerful and heavy this history truly is. I didn't actually see it that way. All these videos really opened my eyes to see how much impact this has been over the years. I kept thinking about everything previous generations had to survive. Slavery, segregation, voter suppression, violence, and constant injustice. And yet, they keep fighting for something better. Hearing how young leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. and Fred Hampton were when they carried so much responsibility hit me hard. It made me reflect on how much courage and pressure those young voices carried during such difficult times. Another thing I couldn't ignore was the feeling that more people today are refusing to stay silent when they experience disrespect or unfair treatment. I felt that shift strongly while listening. Whether it's in workplaces, neighborhoods, or everyday situations, there is this growing mindset that people deserve dignity and respect constantly. Or everyday situations, there's this growing mindset that people deserve dignity and respect without constantly having to prove their humanity. For so long, fear kept people quiet, but now more voices are speaking up instead of shrinking themselves. And yes, they have to speak because it is too much. It is going crazy. It is too much. We need to stand out. What really stood out to me is how important unity really is. It feels like there are always attempts to divide communities and keep people fighting each other instead of focusing on bigger issues. But I honestly feel like division only weakens progress. Even though through all the struggles, Black culture, resilience, creativity, and influence continue to shape society in undeniable ways, and that strength keeps showing up generations after generations. That shows that we ain't sleeping. That shows that we have had enough. That shows that we are standing out. That shows that we are here to defend ourselves. This is the time, guys. We can't keep silence for so long. Our voice needs to go out there. It needs to be listened by everyone facing all these challenges, all these difficulties, all this discrimination. Overall, I walk away feeling reflective, emotional, and honestly inspired by the resilience behind all of this. That is huge. These conversations matter because they remind people where progress came from and why unity still matters today. Thank you all so much for watching and spending this time with me. It really means so much. Our voice needs to be heard. We need to stand up for our black community. If we don't, who else is going to do that for our future kids, the future generation to come? So I really appreciate you watching this video to the end. And make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so that you will not miss more real conversation or more real conversation like this. Make sure that you also drop your comments in the comment section below. Thank you very much. I appreciate and see you guys in the next video.